What up? What up? Election day has come. It is arrived, and tonight we're going to just report on what we've been hearing from around the country. We got with me Quayne. He's in California. How is
Queen,
it going over there in California?
man, it's feeling great. The weather is great, but it's kind of salty because this presidency that's going on right now is, I don't know, it's kind of iffy.
Well, let me put this up here. I'm listening to Charlie Kirk, and they've been going state by state and putting up who's winning. So let me do this.
Right now, Trump is winning in the polls, but Kamala is steadily working her way up. And
So listen up.
to be honest,
Katie Gluick from the New York Times. Democrats bet
You
big
see that
on
right there,
abortion
D?
rights as a major motivator. And for many voters, it was. But for
So
some voters,
they'll
in
be going
states where
through all
abortion
the
access is currently
Trump
protected, the issue
from
felt
4 years
urgent,
ago.
according to a number of
Trump
lawmakers
is
and voters she
has
spoke with
gained
while reporting in
a
Michigan
lot
and
and everywhere.
Pennsylvania.
And the
That
guy
means
right
Trump
here, he's from
Trump played it right.
Pennsylvania.
He played it right.
And he's talking
That means
about
Trump
that.
played it
So
right.
He played it
hopefully we don't
Yeah,
get
so
copyrighted,
I think
and hopefully that Charlie Kirk
yeah, but did
allows us to.
Pennsylvania
the biggest
actually
mistake,
vote
the
for Trump?
biggest mistake is
Right
thinking
now,
that
it's kind of iffy.
in Pittsburgh, we're going to be excited about the
Well,
abortion
here's the
issue as
thing.
number one issue.
So these
And I
guys are
think
only
Trump's
putting up
messaging
on the
the
map
economy, it just worked. I mean,
the
listen, we had
election
25
results
black
of who won
PhDs,
based
and at
on
first I was hesitant to talk
the
about
New York
this.
Times is the one
The
that's calling
results
the
that they got at
states,
the door.
and then they're
I mean,
marketing
Charlie,
it
I've mentioned this on your show
for
before. They hate Kamala Harris.
Donald Trump.
It
So right
doesn't
now,
connect. She's
I
not
don't know if you
authentic.
saw, but the
And they
crypto
connect with
market
Donald Trump
and
for a lot of different reasons. But
investments
I'll tell you, the
have
biggest
been
one is
going
it
up.
puts more food on the table and more food in your bank account, or more money in your bank account.
Because
Bitcoin
they
went over
believe Trump is going to win.
74,000
went all in
already.
on this idea that he's
That's
a threat to
crazy
democracy,
because that's
and
the
that Trump is
all-time
this
high.
monster, and that
And
he's going
then
to take away
Doge
your
went up to
right
21
to an abortion.
cents.
These black guys don't
So,
give a crap about that. And I just
but
think,
yeah,
I mean,
tell
look,
me
if
what
you
you
have
see
to
over
have
there in
increases of
California.
20%,
How
but
do
if
you
we
see
increase this
people over
5 or
there
10%,
in California?
that's why you're seeing this
Everybody trying to vote
I gotta
for
interrupt you guys.
Kamala.
Guys, I mean,
Kamala in your area?
looking at what you're looking at.
It just ticked
Yep.
up as soon as I went to it. Here,
Holy
hold
crap.
Like,
on,
who do you
here.
know personally?
Production team, put this
Me
graphic. It's a
personally,
big
I
reveal
vote for Trump.
of an update.
No,
from
I
New York
said,
Times
who do
tracker.
you know
Trump is projected
personally?
currently. Now this could move.
You don't have to name
To
names,
win the
but
me
how many
popular
people?
vote by
Huh?
1.1%.
Guys,
Personally, you know what I mean. All my friends that's African American,
say it again. No, that if that materialized, that's a
they're not
mass deportation.
Republican. They're not Democratic. They don't know what they. All they doing is voting off of race.
And they're going back.
We're going.
Like, just think about this.
I'm going to tell
You
you what else.
voting off
Think of
of
the
race,
things
really?
that Trump said on this campaign trail.
Let's
and
vote
he's
off
winning
of
the
something
popular
that's
vote.
Guys,
really
Nate
going to
Combs,
make
Nate
the
Combs. Hold on, Nate
economy
Combs. For
great.
the first time tonight, we consider Trump likely to
Because
win the
Trump,
presidency. He has an advantage in each of Pennsylvania,
he
Michigan.
all about money.
To win, Harris would need to sweep
He's
all
like,
three.
I'm already rich.
Vote left, but in the voting
What?
I'm trying to make everybody else rich. I'm trying to make America great.
Can I
Who,
tell you
Really?
was
something?
Let down their
our
audience
neighbor
slowly, 'cause I
back
No, it's like
in
an all
Del
without a
Paso
cause.
Heights?
Have you heard the line, "The cat is on the roof"?
What
Man,
is it?
many of them.
Nuts.
So
No,
the cat is on
our
the roof
next
is like
door
this. It's
neighbor
like you're,
on
it's and
over on Rivera Drive.
this is the Scott Adams thing, so I'll just say it. It's when you
The
have
old
to deliver
man
someone bad news.
that live right next
you
door
bring
to
it to them
us.
slowly. So let's say you're
Oh,
walking
it's
through
true.
White House and
We
Is
you
had
that
see,
Nate?
well, you and it's a
That was
hypothetical.
Nate,
we
right?
So
had
you
Be
would,
careful.
Nick and
Yeah.
everybody.
Well,
We
Nick,
had
Nick's
the
dad.
Blueberries.
you would say,
I
you
mean,
would say,
we had the
"Hey, your cat's on the
Thompsons.
roof."
All right, enough, guys.
Yeah, so
Listen.
it was Nick's
And
dad,
Pull the
Nate.
all right,
Yeah,
seriously.
I
yeah,
asked
we're
him
good, we're good, we're good.
back in
delivering bad news.
2008.
It's
Deliver
about
bad
delivering
news.
bad
It's
news
a
in a
to-
slow,
it's
I
gradual.
said,
way.
hey,
Can I deliver some good
do you
news
mind
first?
if I know who you're
So
voting
we're
for? And
in
he's
right
like,
now. So we're gonna look at the congressional.
yeah, I'm
races.
voting
We're
for
gonna get into it. We're
Obama.
waiting for
I
results.
said, why you voting
for
for
hours and hours
Obama?
and hours for the rest of the time. So I'm not gonna get there.
Uh,
And I don't want
because
to
it's
get
gonna
way
be
ahead.
the first
Right
black
now in Maine to
president.
Austin
Right.
area
That's why.
is
So is that the same thing that's
winning
happening
by
now
2 or 3 points.
It's
in
always
California?
the same thing that's
Just
happening
pull
now.
that up.
In California,
Okay,
that's what's
right
happening
now
then.
a
really across the
Yeah,
country, because
2-point advantage.
black
which is
votes
great
is
for
the
Trump.
votes that you're
I
really
haven't looked
looking
at
at
that
there.
most recently for Maine, but
That's
that is one of
that's
the
the
swing
vote you
districts
want.
that we're looking at to retain the House.
But
And let's
even
talk about
then,
implications with this. We
if the
already know
people
we're
vote,
in. We got the Senate. We got
you need electoral
a
votes.
unbreakable
That comes from the
Senate now,
Senate
right?
and the Assembly,
We're on a great track for President Trump.
Yep.
Now
right?
what we have to look at, can we get the trifecta of the
Yeah,
House?
but have you been
You
looking
can
at
have the
Here's
people
what
so right
voting.
now?
dream
Wait,
is.
wait. So right
As soon as
now,
Trump gets elected,
it's
or he gets
187
elected by the
Harris to
Electoral College, they were
230
gonna
Trump,
throw an absolute
and this
fit,
is from the
14th Amendment
AP
stuff,
poll.
and then they were going to
So right
immediately knew that
now,
wasn't gonna
Trump
work.
is
They were gonna
leading in
immediately impeach
Arizona.
back. They can't do that
He's
now
leading.
if we have the, if we
Well,
retain
they
the House.
already called
So if you look
Pennsylvania,
westward,
not
I've got a
Pennsylvania, but
list of a bunch of
Georgia
different races that we're
for
looking
Trump.
at.
So
It
right
starts in
now,
Maine,
the
it
only
still hasn't been called.
the
But
only
that is a
realistic
great track to
way
be on,
that
and this map
Kamala
overall is
wins
putting us
this,
on the beaten path
but
here.
there's not
So
a
you have the
realistic way for her to
I want to
win.
thank some of our members here
At all.
really quick. I want to
Even
thank
if she
Ellen,
wins
Melissa,
If
California,
she takes Oregon,
Ben, Kayla, Nicholas,
what?
Arthur, Charles, Brandon,
if Kamala takes Oregon, it's over.
Caleb, David.
No, no,
and
no.
more. That
She
is
has no
members.charliekirk.com,
mathematical way of
as long
winning
as the
this.
website does
If
it.
she
No.
takes
You guys
California,
can get in the
Oregon,
running for a
Washington,
free
and
hat,
Hawaii,
by
she
checking
still
out the
won't
podcast
win it.
app, typing in Charlie Kirk Show,
No.
screenshotting and email us freedom@charliekirk.com.
Yeah,
Because
no,
you
the
gotta
math is
remember.
right here
How
because
are we
right
doing,
now,
here?
Look,
Trump
you
is
gotta
leading.
remember that there's some
Arizona, we're
the
missing
votes
200
that's
votes.
out
We just
there
got news,
that
and we'll talk more about this because again, we don't want to get way out ahead
that
because
they need
Arizona's
to
gonna be the program
process.
for the next 2 days.
They need a,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
We just
Well,
found
no,
out
no. I know
And
what you're
again,
talking about, but they're not
working
doing
that
the
was
same
made
thing as
available to Maricopa
4 years
County
ago.
to
4 years
their
ago,
favorite reporter,
they
Joe
had North
Pismo,
Carolina
that they're-
had to be called
they
the
have only
next
counted
day
for the
or
last 2
couple of days. You know,
So it's the
North
least
Carolina's
stuff.
already been called at 9:30
Yeah, this
Eastern
last week
time.
we
So
caught
they
up
already called North
significantly
Carolina.
and
They
got
already
way
called
ahead
Georgia.
in places in CD4 and CD6,
Right now,
CD1.
he's
But obviously
projected to
CD6 is
win
covered in Maricopa County, but CD4,
Pennsylvania
CD1,
by
and
1.2%.
We're going to be good.
We're going to be good.
But this
So,
is from the New York
and
Times,
again,
the AP poll.
I was
I'm
just
just
texting
reading
Carrie
this
Let's
from
think
the
about
AP.
this.
I feel really good.
4 years
I
ago,
think she's probably really close to Ruben
they
Gallego
called it
on
that
initial drops if they would have
Trump
actually
was
done their
gonna
job
win.
and counted all these votes.
I agree.
And that, my
And
friends,
at
is a very bad place
I
to be
think
in
it
if you're a
was
Democrat.
about 10:30 in the morning, California time.
Okay, so
That's great.
California was already for
You
Biden.
could have it.
Well,
coming
that
out
don't
of
matter.
this,
California, it doesn't even
a
matter.
Senator
California, they're gonna
Rogers,
go. They're
a
gonna go
Senator
for.
Eric Hovde.
No,
who's got
it's
an
the
incredible
electoral
mustache.
votes.
Well, I know about the
Listen,
electoral
I'm
votes, but if you
growing a
do the
mustache. I
calculation
already
and the
promised our
math
staff
right
I'm growing a
now,
mustache after this.
even
I'm
if
growing
she
it, but
wins
I'm growing it
California
on
and
behalf
wins
of Eric Hovde.
Oregon and wins Washington, mathematically,
And
You
wins the
would know.
Nevada
Got a pretty size.
and
Oh.
wins
Charlie
the
would have a
belt,
sick handlebar
the
mustache.
Sun Belt.
It would be a
You
sick
know,
she ain't
you
winning the
need
Sun Belt. The
Midwest.
Sun Belt is ready for Trump already.
It's growing in.
No,
Here, look at it. You can look at
Harris
this right here.
campaign chair says the
I
Here, I'm
already
gonna
know.
name it off for you
Oh, they
so
went
that
to
way
bed.
you can
They went
hear
to
it.
bed. That's
Okay,
it.
with
this is the ones that
70%
Trump
reporting
won
Trump was
already.
No, they still
Everyone
gotta
knows.
do everybody that
By the way, it's
the mail-in
New York
votes.
Times reporter. Can I
Well,
read
no,
what
they
the
already
say?
counted the
He
mail-in votes.
says,
They did that
No,
first, and then they
they
are counting
didn't.
the votes from today.
I think that
No,
they-
they didn't.
No, they
that's what he
did.
said.
They did. You have to, and so they
By
put
the way, guys, we need more clips of
500.
the libs on TV.
Yeah,
we're
let's-
way behind on this, guys.
So they put
let's
500.
go.
The Harris campaign says it's not going
500
to
attorneys.
in their eyes.
Here we go.
The
Yeah,
Laura
right.
Trump,
Election
with the
votes.
GOP,
I
they
told you
put
this. I told you
500
this.
attorneys in all these swing
Her first
states to
statewide
count
race,
the
which, by
ballots
the way,
with
the
them.
state of
So
California.
that makes sure that there's
Gotta
no
say it,
nothing
the
like
watermelon
back in
head himself,
2020. So
Adam
they're doing
Schiff,
that right
United
now.
States Senator.
Yeah, well,
We knew it
So
was going to come, but
Well,
just
enjoy
just
that.
I think-
enjoy that sense.
yeah,
But-
all the
but
markets,
we
everything
knew
is
that she refused to concede that race
right now. The
for
poly
3
market is at
weeks
90% that
in
Trump is winning
the
this.
Attorney General's
And
race.
that's why
and
you
she
see
discovered
everything going up.
another 50,000 votes, and it turned I think the gap into a 38,000 vote lead, and that's statewide in California.
So I was just what I was
barely
reading to
won
you
that
was from the
Okay,
AP, and the
wait, we should
AP
play-
does
if
not
you want
like
a
Trump.
meltdown
Yeah.
clip, go ahead and this is
And
the
if you
race
think
lady.
about it right now and watch
This is,
CNN,
Joy Reid.
Yes,
Uh,
everybody's looking at everything's going up.
Pure
Right.
Project 2025 in miniature in Florida, and that
Who
kind
is everybody really going to vote for?
Well, there's a lot of people already voted, and it's
Florida. Does that make it a more
yeah,
attractive
Trump is
place?
going to kill it. He's killing it.
He's gonna
He's
be great.
winning right
She's in
now
her
in
mind.
the
Broke her
majority.
brain.
Her brain is just gone.
it's just
gone now.
Trump right now
This is
all
a
throughout the
rollback, right?
country.
Yeah, this isn't even like
It's
So-
gonna be like screaming and
this isn't-
gnashing.
Let me
that was-
refresh
this is
this
early.
and
This
go
is early.
back
Now
to
this
it.
is not a
All right,
liberal
let's
meltdown
play
clip.
cut 178.
178. It's good.
And again, I think this is becoming a bit of a
Yeah,
thing.
so
We're
it looks
seeing
like Trump is going to
now
take
the
Michigan,
Hispanic vote.
Wisconsin,
Why did Trump
Maine,
make some progress? It was
Pennsylvania.
small, but it was there. In
He already
Philadelphia in
has Ohio,
2020,
Indiana,
because he
West
improved with
Virginia,
Hispanic voters in Hispanic
Kentucky,
areas of
North
the city,
Carolina,
with
South
2/3 of the
Carolina,
vote in
Georgia,
Philadelphia
Florida,
now. It's
Tennessee,
77-21. Well, that was
Alabama,
terrible, but
Mississippi,
compare that to
Louisiana,
2020, and look at that. Trump is
Arkansas,
running
Oklahoma,
3.5 points
Texas,
better in
Missouri,
Philadelphia than he did in
Iowa,
2020. Harris
Kansas,
now 4
New
points off the
England,
Biden
South
number.
Dakota,
There
North
is more
Dakota,
mail to come. More voter
Montana,
mail to come in
Wyoming,
Philadelphia.
Something's
Utah,
going to
Idaho.
happen.
Be a boost to Harris, but
And
there's
he's
also
leading in
more
Arizona right
Sandy
now.
Something's going to happen because
up his 2020
Trump
levels
was
there. So
sitting at 162,
his goal in Philadelphia
and then she was sitting at
under
81.
so far.
No, right now, this is
90.
currently right now. This is
Like,
just,
just think about that.
he's at 230
Again,
and she's at 192.
You're starting to see some
Right. You see how close that is?
One state, you're seeing them in
So-
Do the math.
Cliff,
All
can you
Trump
react to
needs
that?
is,
But first, I
well,
wanna
right
say,
now, that's the AP.
Cameron,
Right
Nadia,
now,
Twan,
that's
Shea
as
Chaya,
You know who needs to hit 270
Chambly,
Yeah,
Mary,
270.
Colby, Danny, Mike.
So let's
Lisa,
go back
Chris,
over here.
Tom,
with
Tyler,
all
John,
the votes.
Chad,
Charlie
It's going to be a couple of more days.
members.charliekirk.com.
they're
Cliff,
going to call it
walk us
tonight.
through the. Can we
It's
get the map
guaranteed tonight.
live,
They're gonna
live,
call
please,
it.
in Pennsylvania up? So
No.
Cliff can walk us through
No.
that.
Guaranteed tonight. They're going to
Yeah, I
call
want to
it.
start by saying this, guy.
You want to, if they call it for Trump tonight, you want to send me some size 12 Air Jordans?
34%.
Nice
Hell
one.
no.
Huh?
I'll
What?
give you some Superman push-ups. And if Trump loses,
Little Superman push-up.
you give me some Superman push-ups back.
One other big thing, Charlie, in Pennsylvania, I have to talk about.
You know what I mean? Straight up.
College, it's a
The
30%
Superman push-ups.
county.
You know, I want Trump to win because,
County.
come on now, let's keep it realistic.
Cambria County by roughly 26,000 votes in 2020. And today they had a major malfunction with the scanning machines. And so a lot of those votes are not in. We're getting a couple in right now.
That's what I'm saying.
That'll be a huge gain, probably to the tune of another 20,000 for Trump in Cambria County. It has not really come in. It's just trickled in right now. Back to what Kornacki said. Of course, that's what we saw in Philadelphia, right? We knew that Harris had to increase or at least maintain what Biden had. But really, based on the other numbers around the state, she had to have significant gains in counties like Philadelphia County. And so I think this whole idea, that Tony Hinchcliffe and all this was going to backfire. I mean, people are people. It's a joke. And I'll sit here and defend it. I know some people might disagree. The polls are closed, so I can say this very openly. But normal people laugh at that stuff. And so I just think they get so in their elitist mindset, and it's backfiring with normal working class people that just want to be able to keep more of the money they make and put food on the table. That's what you saw in Philadelphia County. And so we got to see how many of the Democrats are able to turn out when that hits. But right now, we've got a lot of votes we're ahead. They're going to need a tremendous turnout. And I really don't see the path unless they have some scorched earth, slam dunk, spike of the football to win Philadelphia County.
Yeah, it really all comes down to Philadelphia, Cliff. I'm sitting here, I'm refreshing it. I'm looking at the county of Philadelphia, and it's taking.
Hold on, real
in,
quick. I got some
in,
technical
taking in,
difficulties.
and it's just
Something
not
went up
giving
with
them
my
what they need.
microphone.
It's just not. It's right at that. It's right now. It's at 400,000. So 400,000 was the delta of their entire firewall, and they're only at 400. That's coming in soft for her. She needed more. So where does she? And she knew it was going to come in soft. So where does she go next? This is what we've been talking about all day, Charlie. Where she could come in next is the collar counties. Bring in those suburban women, the suburban white moms, bring them out, do the concert for them, et cetera, et cetera. And we're still, and those collar counties, I think the only one over 50% right now is Montgomery.
Hey,
County.
just can you hear me?
And
Yeah.
about 434.
Yeah, I gotta fix my camera. So yeah, go ahead and just talk about what you're experiencing.
Bucks County is 50 Kamala, Donald J. Trump. The kept asking me about Berks County, and I said it didn't make any sense. I sat here. I was like, Donald Trump is currently up 14 points in Berks County. And CNN was saying Kamala might flip that and take the state. Donald Trump is
How
up
much is reporting?
14 points with 90% reporting.
I mean, Berks County.
Berks
They're
County.
literally still talking about it on CNN.
Yeah,
Shoot.
they've apparently
They keep bringing it up.
He's up
It's the
14
weirdest thing.
points. He's has
Like
107,000
my camera
votes
got
in Berks
messed
County.
So I want to pull something up here. We talked about it earlier in the stream. This is something I saw at Georgia State doing the campus visit.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia State.
Well, it looked like I'm
179. Blake Flag.
currently
This
cameraless here.
is essentially a precinct from Dearborn, Michigan. Now, if you throw up that
I
graphic,
didn't mute his mic, but
59
yeah. So I got
votes for
some
Harris Walton,
camera difficulties
203
going on right
for
here.
Donald J. Trump. And guess who got the second
See if
most?
I can get
Jill
that fixed
Stein
right now.
at 153. So what did I tell you before? There's a whole nationwide movement within the Muslim community to get Jill Stein over
Unmute
5%
Queen's
nationally so that she gets on the
phone
debate stage next
or
time around.
his
Meanwhile,
mic.
Donald
This guy is.
Washington's early votes are within 3% for.
Oh, I better change it here before I get a
get
copyright
to
from.
No, it's not about
Good
Washington.
old-
He's not going to win Washington. But it's about the fact that the early votes.
Let's go
for
see what's going
Washington-
on at PBD's podcast.
Wisconsin.
Wow.
Look how red it is outside those cities.
Wow. Brian, go ahead. You were saying.
I just think that this is what happens when you have these two economies, when you have journalists and a bunch of people that come from expensive they go to very expensive colleges, they all go to step right into a newsroom. And the fact
Okay, we're gonna mute Queen's Mike because
have never really met
he's
a lot
having
of
some
people who work with their
difficulties
hands,
over
serve
there,
in
and I got
military,
some
smoke,
difficulties
know how
over
to change a
here
tire, who have built
because
a
of my.
business. They're just not around those people, and that's a major liability. So what happens is they figure they are smarter, and to them they may not be even lying. In their mind, they're just trying to make the world a better place, and they're talking to people they've never met, that they've never been around, and they
You're
think
back, D?
that's what happens. That's what happens when
No,
you
it's all good. It's all good.
different background who come
I don't
from
know
No,
what.
I don't care,
wrong
don't
with my
care. You
camera.
know what I mean? You know what I mean?
or give them what they want or come up with something they want. You start to think, well, they're not as smart. They're not as smart. They don't have my education. Because let me tell you the big difference between what I think is the left and the right at this point now.
All right, so right now I got PBD's podcast up here, and he's
media, whether they're in Hollywood, whether they're in academia,
they're going through the
those
charts
people
also.
have
So
heard
it's
and
interesting
read
to see
about
what
life.
other people are
They
saying
haven't done life.
here on YouTube.
And all of you guys have done life. That's what it means when you want to build a business. You got to come into contact with objective reality. Fail.
Maybe we should go and look at
approach,
CNN
come up
and
with
see
a
what's
better way
going
to
on
do
with
it.
them, huh?
And that's how you learn about life. You cannot just read about life and hear about life and think you know life. And that's who I think populates the mainstream media.
Let's see
And now I'm
who's
gonna sing a
out
song.
there.
No,
Want
I
to do
can't.
Fox
I can't.
because
I forgot
they
my harp. Did you bring the harp, Dave?
I was
they
ready.
might
for it,
Okay, I know, but
I was ready.
I
for
haven't
it.
done my vocal warm up.
Let me tell you, I was.
they
ready,
might
I wouldn't be surprised if
do
they
a
had to
copyright
Vince, I know
strike.
You wanted to say something.
You know, Patrick, one of the reasons why you guys are so successful, including you and Tucker and Rogan and all of them, is that when you turn on your shows,
Let's go visit Megan Kelly and see what she's got to say.
And that one, I think, is
Oh,
right now
before we get
hitting
to that,
nowhere.
before we get to that, Dave, before we get to that, will the DOJ comply if a newly reelected President Trump orders them to drop the two prosecutions?
Well, it'll be his own DOJ. He's going to appoint an attorney general, be like
I
Cash
know.
Patel or someone, or Mike Davis. Mike Davis will be AG, and then drop everything.
I'm rooting
Yeah,
for
I think
Mike
that's-
Davis. I don't want to get
I'm
ahead of
hoping
myself
it's
on
Mike
cabinet
Davis, too.
appointments.
Well, I'm hoping it's Mike Davis.
Yes, see?
Well,
As you
because
guys
that's the
all
only
know-
way I'll stay out of Gitmo.
Yeah, you guys, as you guys all know, I'm too
Nakiifi maliwana siya,
so
no?
I have 0% chance of ever being Trump's attorney general. But I will say this: look, President Trump's either going back to the White House or he's going to Rikers Islands. And I think the American people are going to determine that tonight.
Fannie Willis has not given this whole thing up.
Everybody apologize. My camera is not.
Next
going on
month
with
in
my
December,
camera,
there's
so
oral
I'm trying
argument
to
for
get
the
it
Georgia
fixed.
Court of Appeals on the very issue of whether or not Fannie Willis should be disqualified from further prosecution in this case. And look,
Back here.
the judges who are on that panel all come from pretty red areas of the state of Georgia. Not saying that politics creeps into the judicial system, but hey, sometimes it might. And I think that if he wins this election, and it looks like he will tonight, I think that the Court of Appeals in Georgia is just going to have all the more reason to go ahead and disqualify Willis. And if that happens, this becomes an indictment without a prosecutor, because the Georgia, they have a state agency called the Prosecuting Attorneys Council. They would be tasked with potentially assigning it to another prosecutor, and no other prosecutor in their right mind in the state of Georgia is going to want to pick up the mantle and try to carry this prosecution across the finish line. They would have to start over from the very beginning, probably anyway, to clean up the mess. Willis. On the other hand, if I'm wrong and she's not recused from the case or dismissed from the case, I think that it's stayed pretty much indefinitely. I don't think the trial judge is going to want to proceed with any kind of active litigation against a potential sitting president of the United States. So one way or another, I am convinced that the Georgia case is dead in the water.
I'm convinced of that too. Dave, if he does lose,
and audience should be reminded.
We don't have a call in one of those three blue wall states, and if she wins them all, she's going to be the next president. So if he loses, what happens with the New York case? That one did proceed to verdict. If the judge says, I'm not worried about that evidence we let in, I don't think that it would have affected the verdict, and I'm going to go ahead and proceed with sentencing, then what happens?
Yeah, then he'll sentence
Hey,
him.
we got
and then
Daily
he'll
Wire.
appeal
Let's see what
on
they
the
got to
grounds he
say.
just said. And then I suspect
Finish up in Lebanon. He wants them to finish up in the Gaza Strip. And
Ben
then Donald
Shapiro?
Trump is going to work. Yeah, he's going to.
He's got a
has all those points already.
247,
That's all gonna come
204
into
Trump.
play. As far as Ukraine, Trump and Vance have already said, contrary to popular opinion, both Trump and Vance have said they will continue to fund Ukraine sufficient so that Vladimir Putin does not walk into Kyiv. But they are also going to be realistic about what the prospects for what the final settlement in Ukraine looks like, which is the solidification of the borders of Donbass and Ukraine, some sort of commitment to neutrality, but with some sort of additional funding of military resources sufficient to deter a further Russian invasion. Things are about to get
How long do you
better.
think that'll take on the Ukraine-Russia front?
I mean, that's up to Putin.
Yeah.
That's up to
I
Putin.
better
think
get out of
this
this
is one of the
this one
dangers is that if
because
you keep signaling that you're a little weak on it,
don't
then
know.
Putin probably keeps trying.
we'll go back over here to Charlie Kirk. There's
Still 80% out in
253,000
Cambria,
people watching this
because
channel.
Cambria was the one that was held open 2
Uh,
hours late.
Cambria County is going to be another 20.
I'm gonna put it on mute real quick. I'm gonna get you in here, D. So Quayne, my camera is not working, so you're not gonna see my face on here, but you can hear me. I gotta get my camera fixed. And it looked like you're on stuck mode, D. So right now it looks pretty good for Donald Trump. Once I'm gonna put Dwayne back in the backstage so he can get his phone or whatever's happening with him get going again. So right now we are bring him back in. Don't know what's going on with his anyways. So right now Donald Trump looked like he's gonna run away with this one. I just feel like that's what's gonna happen.
In
Trump is
Philadelphia
going
from
to win
2020
it.
would magically
Well,
be
listening
there, it would
to
probably be another 40,
Charlie Kirk
400,000.
and
I'm not saying that
His
I'm not
crew.
saying that they would have magically appeared, through some kind of fraud or something. What I'm saying is that you would have seen a lot more whipping of the votes. You would have seen a lot more of the private sector unions, a lot more of that muscle that you just didn't see. And Cliff, I know you saw this as well, that you didn't see those private sector unions. AFSME and SEIU were out there, sure, the public unions, but the private sector unions did not get involved at a level that you would normally expect in Pennsylvania. Now, to call that Josh Shapiro's revenge, whatever, I don't know, but
Jump over
you're
here.
looking at a very
quick.
Raise your hand. How many guys are like, honestly, I'm kind of thinking about my pillow right now. Raise your hand. Respect. Check this out. There's this 78-year-old man that finished up his rallies yesterday at 3:30 in the morning.
Yep, he was in Michigan.
78-year-old man that finished up his rally at 3:30 in the morning.
He lives on McDonald's.
Do you know, as a person that's going up against an enemy, there is no quality more intimidating than your opponent who can outlast you. The level of stamina this guy has is ridiculous on how long he can last. You got to give him props on his energy and the stamina that he's got. Can you imagine Kamala on the other side is like, dude, take a freaking break. The other day, you're looking at YouTube, all the lives, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours. Trump to this audience, next audience. It's like 7, 8 of them he did in a single day at 78 years old. And we're supposed to believe Kamala's going to win tonight? The American people are supposed to sit there and believe that the person that works less, drives less is going to win? I don't know. I think even New York Times and all these guys shivering, wondering if this is going to become a reality. Brandon just sent me something. What is this thing that Brandon just sent me? Is that something we want to show with Jersey and Illinois? Brandon, what is it you just sent me? Can you show what you just?
All right, I'm gonna stop the screen right now. What's amazing is that they're gonna try to do something. I feel with Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Nevada. So if they try to do that, hopefully the lawyers that Laura put in there. So Laura Trump has got like a bunch of people in 500. It's actually 500 lawyers, I think, that they're in all of these swing states to make sure that the vote is accurate. So that's where the GOP. So Laura Trump is the GOP, the leader of the GOP, and she is she has 500 of these lawyers that are just there to make sure that all the votes are being counted accurately. And that stuff that happened back in 2020 is not going to happen this time around. What's amazing is that North Carolina was called at 9:30 Eastern time. Last time it was not called at that time. And if you remember, some guy that was, who was it that was on Fox? He called Arizona for Biden, and everybody was like, what? What is going on there? And you just saw that happened. So anyways, I'm just going to be flipping to different channels that I follow, that they have these charts up, and they got thousands and thousands of viewers right now. PVD, he has how many? He has 264,000, almost 265,000 people watching him. If you go over to Charlie Kirk, he has 231,000 people watching his show. Fox News has 152,000, surprisingly, but they have more than CNN and CBS. There's not too much excitement for those channels, and I wonder why. All right, who knows? Well, we know that they have terrible ratings, and they don't tell the honest truth, and that's what happens. They won't be able to they won't be able to get away with it this time, and I don't think they will at all. So, anyways, had some technical difficulties today. So my camera is not working, so I'm not gonna be on the camera, but I will be just putting other channels on here that are covering everything, so you can see what's happening in different parts of the country and with other people's podcasts. So, okay, so let's go over here to Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to drop that in so that way you guys can see it. Boom. Go to his live bow. Top.
8 million total votes in Pennsylvania. Remember, back in 2020, we had 6.8 million. We are not having major population growth in PA, so a lot of the projections show that we'll be at the same number, which would still be record highs. But let's just say we're getting to 7 million would be the total. So at this point, Donald Trump is up 204,000 raw votes in Pennsylvania, and there's roughly 1 million votes to go. And so once again, we're trying to analyze which counties they're in. But I'm going to say that again. There's roughly 1 million votes left to go, and Donald Trump is up by 204,000 raw votes. A great position for the Trump campaign.
So I'm going to ask Tyler a question offline here. Blake, what are you seeing? Welcome back, Blake.
Howdy. Did I miss anything?
By the way, if you want to pay for Blake's dinner, become a member, members.charliekirk.com. That's members.charliekirk.com.
What kind of? How do you like your steak?
Rare for the most part.
All right.
Like, come on.
And then we have still
not the Trump way. Trump doesn't do the best steaks, unfortunately.
I like rare plus
ketchup.
Did Brett log off here? Brett, what did
No,
you just
I'm
text
still
me?
here.
Share the audience. That's breaking news.
Yeah, I'm still here. So Door County is done counting. And that was a national bellwether. There was a 60-minute story. It was a whole 10-minute piece on Door County a couple weeks ago. They've correctly predicted every presidential race since 2000. Trump lost it by 400. But it looks like he's going to win the other national bellwether county here in Wisconsin, Sauk County. That's where the Wisconsin Dells is. Looks like he's going to win that as well. Looks like Eau Claire County is done counting. That's a huge college town in northwestern Wisconsin, part of the Minneapolis TV market. Trump's at 43% there. So seems to be holding the line in a county that, he was projected to lose by. And interesting here, Hovde is right there with them at 43% in Eau Claire County. So it seems like Hovde and Trump are right there neck and neck. Our ballot curing operation, to Tyler's point earlier, might end up being the difference maker for Mr. Hovde.
Really quick, guys. Bucks County, breaking news out of Bucks County. What's up?
Bucks County has split, folks. Obviously, we're still counting ballots, but this is a huge, huge development. Jackie told me this 6 months ago. I thought you were crazy. But right now, there's 112,824 votes for Trump, 112,445 for Harris. It is neck and neck, but that is a monumental moment to show the bellwether of Pennsylvania.
That just shows, though, she's not going to get votes out of Bucks. That takes there's no reservoir of votes for her in Bucks. Yeah,
it's over. Yeah, Bucks is getting better as it continues.
That's what I said. I said it gets better.
Yeah, that's what you said. Montgomery's getting better.
Also Westmoreland, man, you have votes left in Westmoreland.
Good. And then yeah, those are the deep red reservoirs out west. There's 70% still out there, and Cambria still is just sitting on those that 80%. I mean, it's not going to be a lot in Cambria. It's not a huge county or anything like that, but again, those are all going to be reliable. Like Kamala is still winning, even though we know that's a huge Trump county. So keep an eye on that. That's going to come in. Center County.
By the way, Tim
man.
Sheehy is crushing John Tester. Right
Center County again, Charlie.
Annihilation.
Penn State. I just keep looking at it.
Okay,
Unbelievable.
Again, I'm going to say this though, Cliff.
Unbelievable.
MSNBC just said Pennsylvania officials told them to expect a big drop of absentee ballots tonight, and there it is. Where do you mean it? And there it is. I don't see it anywhere. Do you? Do you?
A big drop.
I see nothing.
Wow.
I hear nothing. I do
Okay.
nothing. I'm just waiting for it, Charlie.
So,
This is what we've been talking about.
because of the
we keep talking
technical
about
difficulties that
Philadelphia.
I'm having
18%
with
is
my
still
camera
out
and everything,
in-
I'm going to end
in
the stream.
Philadelphia. And so
But I advise you
what
guys
that
to go
18%
and check
looks like
out
is
these
gonna
other
be
guys.
interesting. Is it,
obviously
is it going to
Charlie
get her up
Kirk,
to the 600,000? I just don't see it.
Officer
I
Tatum,
just don't. Not at these
the
trends.
podcast.
Man, I mean, do
Megan
we have
Kelly,
eyeballs on the ground in on all the
out
right
also
places, Jack?
the
We do.
Cartier family.
I've got people running
just,
around
do we
everywhere.
have chain of
All
custody to
those
make sure? You know,
Just
Yeah,
flagging
you
a
can
thing.
just
There was a
pop
bit
into
kind of about a
CNN
half
once
hour
in a
ago where the New
while
York
to see
Times
what's
dial
going on
stalled out.
there.
It had gone over 90. It went back
I
to below
believe I
80. You
put it
saw
on, so I
popular
can
vote slink
hear it.
back to
Let me
about
just do that
0.9, I think.
before I pop
Now
off
it's moving
here.
back in our direction. We have popular vote estimated 1.
Let me do that. Let me go over here. And I'm just gonna, so you can just hear. That's all. Let's see. Wow. I thought that CNN would be the first thing to pop up here, but it's not. We have MSNBC and News Nation, ABC. Whoa. ABC has, let me just pop in here real quick. Just listening in on ABC real quick. So they project that the GOP takes control of the Senate. So they're saying that the GOP is going to take the Senate. Wow, they're all like, okay, so ABC, even though the Trump has so much lead and everything, they're not willing to call it for Trump. So something's gonna be going on here. So right now, Pennsylvania looks good for Trump. So this is MSNBC. Crazy. Pop in here to Fox and see what Fox says. Let's see what this tank guy says. He's saying. Hey, the Young Turk, they have Trump ahead. Also, that's kind of crazy. All right, so yep, I'm gonna go ahead and bow out of here, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but I'll have everything back up and running, and then we'll have the real results in the morning. Hopefully, that people in the East Coast, when they go to sleep tonight and they wake up tomorrow morning, it's not going to be another thing of like the 2020 election. That tonight they're going to call it, and they're going to call it for Trump. So there we go. All right. Hey, the Really Toco podcast. If you haven't did it, hit that like and subscribe button and share it with your family and friends.